Hi, everyone, and welcome to OEM Update, where we talk about everything you need to know about this year's vehicle model lines in order to better sell them. My name is Megan Cusack, editor of Motorcycle and Powersports News, and today we're going to be talking about the JackRabbit OG2 micro electric bicycle. The OG2 is a brand new model from JackRabbit that just dropped on August 12th and boasts a starting MSRP of $1,249.99. So let's dive deeper into what exactly this e-bike offers. But for that, we're going to go straight to the OEM source. Joining me today to give us an overview of the OG2 is Jason Kenagy, co-founder and CEO of JackRabbit. Jason, thank you so much for hopping on to speak with us today.
Thank you. Good use of the word hop. It's great to be here. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that. All right. So, although we're here to talk about the brand new JackRabbit OG2, let's step back for a minute. So, for those of our viewers who are not familiar with the original JackRabbit, can you give us an introduction to the brand? For instance, what types of customers are looking for this e-bike?
Yeah, we started JackRabbit a few years ago, and we started with our original, the JackRabbit OG. It's the original micro e-bike, and we created this for a variety of users. Kind of college students was an initial target, but right away we learned that it kind of fits everywhere. And so, in the power sports world, it fits really well. It's a great pit bike, and it's a great commuter bike. It just travels everywhere, and we've been kind of taking it as it comes, for lots of different markets.
Okay, so then what exactly sets apart a JackRabbit from other e-bikes on the market? I know you mentioned something about it's micro. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, why don't I just, like, one of the best ways is just for me to just show you as well. So we have all kinds of show and tell, and I can kind of like show from our original model, and then I can show you some of our newer new releases as well. But kind of fun to show a little bit. Our original model is called the OG. This is an OG. This is a JackRabbit OG. I'm just going to say, this is a highly customized OG, because we've learned that folks love to customize JackRabbits. So I didn't do this.
That's not a classic, color that it comes in. Darn.
No, I mean, we do get requests for sure, but super cool. This is custom car building community. We exhibited at SEMA and stuff like that, right? And so people have really taken to it. This is from a custom car club called Ruined, and they're just nice partners of ours. And so I picked up this bike from them. I was lucky to grab it, but you can kind of see it's micro because it's small and it's super light, yet it has these big, stable 20-inch tires on it. It's all electric. So here's the rear motor. There's a 300-watt motor on this bike. And it's 24 pounds, our original model. They fit into cars, they fit into boats, they fit into airplanes. It's the only e-bike that you can actually fly with reasonably. People fly all over the world with JackRabbits now. And it's small, but it's very stable. We're bike designers, and it makes it very useful, but it's also just a lot of fun, So this is kind of like what you see is what it is, and when you really think about it, like it serves the needs, it's easier to ride than a scooter. Anybody can ride a JackRabbit, but it doesn't have the weight and bulk. It has the comfort of a regular bike, but it doesn't have kind of the weight and the bulk of a regular size bicycle as well.
Okay, so that's the OG that you showed us. What's going to differentiate the OG2 from its predecessor?
Yeah, well, if you don't mind, I'll go kind of in order of what they. So we came out with the OG, then we came out with the JackRabbit XG. It's a new product as well, and now we kind of have these kind of like this portfolio of bikes, and then we have the OG2 that is just now coming out, and we're excited to discuss and announce it with MPN and folks. But going back to the XG is a new product as well. It came out late last year, and so it's still new within the market, within understanding of it. And this behind me is an XG. I can pick it up as well. it's kind of the bigger sibling of the OG, if you will. So this is the XG. It's 32 pounds instead of 24 pounds. It has a 500-watt motor instead of a 300-watt motor. It's just kind of like the bigger sibling, as I was saying. It has front and rear brakes. It has 2 batteries instead of 1, and I haven't showed you this yet, but these are our batteries. So the batteries just pull right out of the frame. So you kind of have like unlimited mileage, essentially. If you need to go farther, you just plug another battery in. The XG has 2 batteries. Each of these batteries is good for about 10 miles. So 2 of these in this bike, that's 20 miles range. The OG has 1 battery. So the OG, we like to say, is like the ultimate portable, zippy, maneuverable, fun ride. Like when every inch and every absolute minimal weight matters, go for the OG. But the XG just has, we like to say, a little bit more room in the cockpit, a little more room, and a little more vroom vroom. They both go 20 miles an hour, but the XG just has more torque, so it'll kind of rip up hills faster than the OG will. They're both good hill climbers, but the XG is kind of like if you need that more power, that additional torque, you get that on the XG.
So yeah, can you tell us about the OG2?
Sure, I would love to. I was about to, jump in there, right? So yeah, the OG2. What kind of bike, by the way, can you just have in a small office and have 3 of them here, kind of, right? And then just lift them up and show them off, kind of, right? So this is the OG2, and what I'm actually showing it to you is it's in what we call flat mode now. So the handlebars are turned sideways and the foot pegs are folded up, so it's 7 inches wide now, basically, right? And this makes all of our bikes do this, right? And it just makes it, you can hang it from a coat rack, right? So this is if you recall the first bike I showed you with the lit up wheels, that's an OG, a customized OG. This is a stock OG2 here, right? Same kind of great portability. A bunch of new features and some kind of enhanced design attributes, we'll say, as well. So, we really like the look of this this curved down tube. We've kind of made it cleaner and faster, kind of in some ways. Internal cable routing. These burly foot pegs come stock on it now. We call these mega metal foot pegs. We do sell these as accessories for the other bikes. But it's just kind of further refined. And when I want to put it into ride mode, again, I'm just holding this thing up to demonstrate, you just flick the handlebars down, tighten them, you just put the foot pegs down, and now you're ready to rip off, basically, right? So this is the OG2. It has a bunch more features. It's got a nice, cool digital speedometer display on it that the OG did not have. It has a new super fast flat folding. The OG does fold flat, but this one folds flat really fast, really conveniently. It's got these new foot pegs. It's got light ports for a headlight and a tail light, and just a bunch more features. We just continue to add value to this kind of platform, to this capability.
Yeah, that's excellent. I love all those extra features on there. Real quick, can you kind of break down the specs for the OG2, how those differed from the OG?
Yep. So in terms of core fundamentals of all of our bikes, there's some commonalities between the specs, and that main commonality I'll cite is speed. They all of our bikes go a maximum out of the box of 20 miles an hour. They have good torque. We think that's a good zippy, like good fast speed. They're very stable at that speed. We do have folks who modify them after the fact, just like somebody modified the original OG aesthetically. People do modify them and put more powerful motors on them, and people even wire Milwaukee tool batteries into them, that sort of type stuff as well. And that will make it go faster and make it more power, more torque, etc. But we're kind of committed to, like, we believe everyone should have a JackRabbit, and so they all go 20 miles an hour. Both the OG and the OG2 have a 300-watt motor, and they both have a single battery that are easy to swap in and out. And versus the XG, which has 2 batteries, and more powerful torque, 500 watts instead of 300 watts. And so those are the kind of the core specs. Well, I guess I'll say a couple others. Weight and dimensions. The OG and the OG2, even though we've added a bunch more features on the OG2, we've still been able to keep it at a ultralight 25 pounds, while the XG is 32 pounds. So and width, the XG has 4 inches more on the wheelbase, which again just gives a little bit more cockpit room, but it doesn't but it doesn't have the same. It's still more portable than any other e-bike, but the OG2 is the ultimate in portability. And when I kind of say the ultimate, to give a couple examples, and I'm in the biz and I stick them in and out of cars all the time, it's a very convenient thing to do. You can fit 3 OGs and OG2s in the trunk of a Tesla Model 3, if that's your thing, right? Tesla Model 3. They get pancake flat and they stack into the trunk. You can fit 2 in the trunk of a Corvette, if that's your thing, right? And Corvettes have very small trunks, right? So you can fit 2 in the trunk of a Corvette, and you can fit 18 in a minivan. If you happen to have a minivan and you have 18 JackRabbits, you can fit 18 in a minivan, because I've done it before. So they're both very portable, though. You can fly with both of them again, and they're pretty fun to fly. I mean, I've flown to Las Vegas, Miami with JackRabbits, and I just ride them out of the airport down to the Strip or to Miami Beach directly from the airport. So it's been cool.
Very cool. Can I just ask really quickly about the seat height? How does that work, especially for taller people like myself?
Yeah, it's solid. We originally kind of developed these products for college students originally, and then we sort of learned that lots of people like them, and college athletes especially, right? And so we have the LA Chargers, the New York Rangers, their captain and several people on their team, they ride JackRabbits. We have even for the OG and the OG2, we have folks in the kind of the 6'8", 300, 285 sort of type pound range that have surprised us, actually. And they hold up. So we do have different specs. Back to your specs question. The OG2 and the XG are both rated for 275 pounds. That's what we advertise. I have seen bigger people on them. The XG, we do rate up to 6'6" in terms of height, while the OG we rate up to 6'2". But I've seen bigger people on both of them as well. And not only have I seen bigger people on them, and yeah, I'm just gonna say they look a little different, right? They do. I mean, they're a new type of vehicle, right? But we've been pleased with some confident people that have just jumped on them, right, and started riding them. And in the motorsports and the motocross world specifically, Justin Barcia rides an OG. Ken Roxon rides an XG, right? Shane McElrath rides an XG. I had Travis Pastrana all weekend on an OG at a Nitro Cross race as well, enjoying it and getting benefit as a pit bike around there as well. So those are not only decent sized dudes, some more than others, but we have a pretty broad athlete. NFL, U.S. Olympic rugby team bought a whole fleet of OGs, and those guys are really huge, right? So not only does it carry those people, but some of the motocross dudes put it. Barcia has some videos out on the internet I've seen of him kind of doing 180s on it, and we've seen some people doing some jumps. We didn't design it for that, but people are using it for that. And as one of our dealers said to us one time, it's like these things. It was a mechanic and a dealer. Sometimes they can be tough customers, mechanics, and he said these things are just a hoot, and I'm like, I love that word. It's a hoot, So yeah. It's a hoot that holds up and provides useful stuff to its riders.
Speaking of useful stuff, what are some of the most popular accessories for the JackRabbit?
We love accessories. We kind of built this thing to be kind of modular and personalizable. I mean, you saw right from the start, some people do some crazy paint jobs and stuff like that on them, but but there's easier ways to personalize and mod it, and accessories is one of those ways. So like more continuing the show and tell, like I have a bunch of accessories I can just kind of hold up. We have things like this is a basket that just attaches super easily onto the seat post. Some folks have said, yeah, we love to see the different Instagram posts of what people say and Facebook posts and whatnot. And somebody said, fits a 6-pack, a poke bowl, and pickleball paddles perfectly, kind of, right? And somebody else like it fits an 18-pack as well, right? So this is a solid accessory. Yeah, I know. You got to be a little careful with wheelies with an 18-pack, I think. But they continue to we have different foot pegs in kind of forged aluminum, that billet forged aluminum that are in black anodized. We also have a kind of a micro blasted silver. We sell extra batteries. This is our standard battery that comes with a case that attaches under the seat, and here's just what our standard battery looks like, right? And you can just pop those in and out. They're $200, right? So we built all of this, and I can talk about prices for everything, of course. But very high value battery. If you need more range, this is called the Range Buster battery. You might be able to see this goes into the frame, and these side portions here act as essentially look like saddlebags, if you will, on the outside of the frame. And this cap just goes around the bottom of the frame. It's got a little lanyard on it, but it then snaps around the frame, to keep everything super tight. And this is good for 24 miles. So if you put 2 of these on an XG, 48 miles, right? Plus the 2 batteries that came with it, 20 more miles, so 68 miles, right? And all our batteries are interoperable, so this fits in an OG2, and gives you an immediate 24 miles on an OG2, for example. And I'm almost done with we got a bunch of accessories, just to be clear. Light kits. We sell fenders, things like this is just a very basic strut fender, but it gets the job done, if you again, for the motorsports world, need that sort of stuff. And lastly, I'll just hold this sucker up. I mentioned planes. This is a travel bag. So this is the air, sea, land travel bag. We're pretty big in the boating community. So if you are around saltwater spray, throw your JackRabbit in this, on plastic coated canvas, nylon. But this is FAA approved to fly as well. So people throw their JackRabbits in this. There's reinforced touch points with plastic for the wheel nuts, things like that. And we have more travel accessories coming out, from solar panels. We offer a 12-volt charger now as well for CLAs. More travel bag sorts of type stuff in the works as well. So accessories galore.
Okay, so Jason, you have shown us really all the capabilities of the JackRabbit here and how cool and different of an e-bike that it is. But let's step back a little bit. I want to talk a little more general. There are some power sports dealers that are still kind of on the fence about, whether e-bikes are even right for the market. So what would you say to them? Why should power sports dealers sell e-bikes?
It's a really good question. It's always been a good question. It's gotten a more difficult question for a lot of different brands recently, because kind of post COVID, there was kind of a surge of e-bike interest, I want to say, right? And it was common for a lot of power sports dealerships to just pick them up because people were buying bikes. All of a sudden again there's a big surge in people buying bicycles again. That's somewhat kind of like leveled off to some extent, but it still is an important part of some power sports businesses to sell this product, in addition to all the other motorcycles, dirt bikes, street bikes, jet skis, you name it, kind of, right? So they do have a place, but not all the same, kind of, right? And so we look at it, we look at it in terms of like how easy is this to fit into a power sports business kind of repertoire, into their portfolio of products, all the way from a sales standpoint, all the way to service, kind of, and maintenance sort of aspects as well. And I mentioned pit bikes before. I mean, so JackRabbits fit really well into power sports. We're going to say we do sell at a lot of bicycle shops as well. Specialized sells us in over 30 of their retail locations, for example. But we sell at Indian motorcycles. We sell at Harley Davidson shops as well, right? And what's really worked for the power sports and other just more general power sports shops as well, not just motorcycle shops as well. What works for them with a JackRabbit and some e-bikes, other e-bikes as well. Like we have a throttle, right? And a throttle fits in really well in the power sports industry, right? And again, it adds benefit to power sports enthusiasts, right? When they want to ride a full blown 450, or 250 or whatever, motocross bike, dirt bike, then they will, kind of, right? But the fact that they can throw a JackRabbit into the trailer or even just in the trunk of their car along with it as well, and you're not going to take your dirt bike, full 2-cycle or 4-cycle down to the convenience store, but you will take a JackRabbit, right? You're going to take it camping. You're going to throw it in the RV, the toy hauler. And what's crazy as well is you're not just going to throw one. You'll throw like 4 or 6 JackRabbits. We have boat captains that buy like 6 JackRabbits for their boat. Makes the same sort of type thing, same sense for power sports. But it's a good question. Bikes have utility. E-bikes have utility, and it's another way for folks just that love 2 wheels and love to be outdoors to just continue to be on 2 wheels. And that's a reason why power sports dealers, I think, should be interested in them, into e-bikes in general. But just JackRabbit makes a lot of sense because it has so much utility. It's so just kind of like with the spirit of power sports. It's so portable. And again, it's just a hoot to ride. And the last thing I'll say is we've seen some differences in power sport dealerships. And they service motorcycles, they service ICE engines and things like that. They don't really service bicycles sometimes, right? And so they're not set up to service bicycles. We designed ourselves to be kind of like super low maintenance. You can get a flat tire, but you replace the inner tube, right? We don't have a chain. We don't have pedals and cranks. Ultra low maintenance, comes fully assembled. So it's very easy for power sports dealers to just grab some of ours and throw them into the shop, and people, and it's not cannibalistic or a replacement. They're like, yeah, I'll take that dirt bike and I'll take a JackRabbit, so they kind of support each other, and ideally we think that JackRabbit's a good, it's even can be a bridge into power sports for people that want maybe a scooter but don't want to stand on a stand-up scooter. Jump on a JackRabbit, then next thing you know, maybe you're buying a dirt bike, a motocross bike, or some other type of 2-wheeled traditional power sports vehicle.
Absolutely. All right, so you just talked about service, and so I kind of want to delve into that just a little bit more there. So you said JackRabbits themselves are very low maintenance. Are there any maintenance needs that a power sports service department would need to know in order to service a JackRabbit?
Yeah, we love dealers, I'm just going to say, and we love working with them as well. Our head of service comes from the motorcycle and power sports world as well. He raced, he is certified mechanic, certified instructor, all that stuff. And so we know what's needed there. And the JackRabbits come fully assembled. When you take it out of the box, you put the handlebars on. Like anybody can put the handlebars on. They're removable when you put them in the trunk of a car. So just throw the handlebars on. Top up the battery, top up the tires, and you're ready to go, basically, right? We offer very competitive margins to dealers, even though other bikes require a lot more maintenance, a lot more installation. There's no installation. You can sell maintenance packages with JackRabbits just like you sell it with other e-bikes or even motorcycles. But again, it's super low maintenance. And we offer a 2-year warranty as well. We carry all replacement parts, and this is a lot of dealers, I think, will be like, oh, you do? And that we get positive reaction to that. We planned this from the start. One of our co-founders, our other co-founder, was a bike mechanic at REI and Sport Chalet for like 30 years. So he knows the suffering, if you don't have parts and how customers get upset. We carry all replacement parts. It's fairly good bike companies do that. There's a lot of Chinese bike companies out there, I'll say, and they don't carry replacement parts. And it's basically like when it breaks, we'll see what we can do, but like it ends up being thrown out essentially. So JackRabbits last for thousands of miles. We carry replacement parts for everything. Very little breaks. Any dealer, I'm happy to talk about, what our yield rates and replacement rates are for controllers and throttles and motors, because we have thousands of JackRabbits out there in the world, but they're very reliable. It's a workhorse. So
fantastic. All right, last question for you. So in working with dealers, what is JackRabbit doing to help them move your, any of your units, but especially now that you've got the OG2 coming out?
That's another great question. Yeah. Well, we have competitive margins that work for them, kind of, right? And so that's something that we offer right out of the box, if you will, right? Is that they are priced to be able to be like almost like an accessory to some extent for other products that Powersports shops sell, right? And that's happened in the boating world, it's happened in the RV world with us, it happens in the Powersports world with us as well. But it holds and it stands its own value as well. So we have good pricing. We do have good pricing. We also offer, in addition to the warranty, the replacement parts, we have a dealer portal with full service aspects to it as well. Videos on everything, right? We're there for dealers, and beyond that as well, we have a good, nice assortment of different point of presence materials, point of sales materials as well. We're very proud to have just launching as well. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but thank you for the opportunity, Megan. We have a new rack that holds a JackRabbit kind of at like chest level. You can park under other JackRabbits underneath it. It has a video monitor arm that plays on a loop, and it holds accessories for sale in the back. Because accessories, by the way, is a very good margin business, and people add about 50% of our customers buy an extra battery, and our batteries are at 40% margin. Our other accessories are at Keystone 50% margin. We're pretty open book on this because we have a great product with great pricing that we're able to move units, and JackRabbits move. We're at about we're around 200 dealers across the U.S. right now, and that includes fairly large dealerships like Scheels. We love selling through Scheels. They're a great store if you've ever been to one. It's like an amusement park kind of. Specialized bike shops, Indian bike shops, single door to 50 door sorts of type shops. We do sell that, and we really strive to provide top-notch service and support to all of our dealers, because seeing is believing, but riding is believing. If you get on a JackRabbit and ride it, you'll see how much fun and how useful it is. So we want dealers to embrace that and bring in some inventory. We have, by the way, we also do have pretty low flexible minimum order quantities as well with dealers, because we want to get them up and running and seeing these kind of move, right? And seeing these sell, right? And then sure, we'll sell you as much as you want then at that point. But our goal is to cause dealers to be successful, and we're here for that.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, Jason, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us about the JackRabbit OG2.
It's been my pleasure as well, Megan. Great questions, and I look forward to riding down the road. Let's go ride some JackRabbits.
For more information about JackRabbit or to become a dealer, head to jackrabbit.bike. And as always, stay tuned to MPN for more of the latest and greatest in motorcycle and powersports news.